Hi everyone, welcome to the Celebrity Diaries. The Cosby Show, a spearheading sitcom including an upper working-class dark family, kicked off something new on TV. Sabrina Le Beauf depicted Sandra, a Princeton graduate who later wed Elvin and became a mother of twins, in spite of the show's achievement and the inside-and-out improvement of different characters. Sabrina's job was to some degree neglected, getting restricted screen time following the finish of The Cosby Show's 8th season. Large numbers of her co-stars delighted in flourishing vocations, yet Sabrina, for a more confidential life, moved back from the spotlight and kept a position of safety. Sabrina Le Beauf has total assets of $1.5 million, brought into the world in the energetic city of New Orleans and brought up in the different scene of Los Angeles. Sabrina's family bragged a rich embroidery racial variety with huge local American roots. A novel part of her family ancestry uncovered that a piece of her family members had at one time passed as white during the period of isolation, featuring the perplexing transaction of personality in her experience, and her energy for artistic expressions drove Sabrina to seek after a degree in theater expressions at UCLA, where her affection for acting bloomed anyway. It was at the lofty Yale School of Dramatization that she found the supporting climate she expected to sharpen her art strangely here. Time at Yale was imparted to, in all honesty, the acclaimed entertainer Angela Bassett, making a powerful scenery for their separate processes in media outlets. In a savvy interview with Individuals magazine, Sabrina genuinely shared her experience of being an African-American entertainer who didn't fit the cliché pervasive in the projecting pool. She communicated how Yale School of Show turned into an extraordinary space, imparting in her the conviction that she could rise above assumptions and succeed in any job she sought. After one striking tryout was for The Cosby Show, a famous TV series of its time. In a noteworthy discussion with the Washington Post, Sabrina unveiled her methodology of endeavoring to line up with what she named the dim, fascinating sort of entertainer, a pattern she saw in the business anyway. Her involvement in The Cosby Show tryouts introduced a piercing second in her profession in spite of her ability and goals. Sabrina was educated that she was considered excessively old for the jobs, especially as she was just 10 years more youthful than Felicia Rashad, who depicted the personality of the mother, Sandra Huxel. The commencement of The Cosby Show in September 1984 denoted the start of an earth-shattering sitcom that would shape the scene of TV. In its pilot episode, the Huxel family was presented with 4 kids: Denise, Theo, Vanessa, and Rudy. As per bits of knowledge from the Washington Post, an essential choice was made by Bill Cosby, the show's famous figure, after the initial 4 episodes to extend the Huxtable family to incorporate a 5th kid, reflecting his own genuine relational peculiarities. The mission for the ideal fit for this new person prompted a fascinating new development, as described by the show's chief, Jay Sandrich, in a meeting with the television legend site. The underlying decision for the job of Sandra was, as a matter of fact, Whitney Houston. Jay shared that Whitney was offered the job, yet her yearnings as a vocalist at first drove her to waver in marking the agreement. She was worried that being important for a TV program could adversely influence her prospering singing vocation, which was at this point to completely secure itself anyway. Jay saw the possible beneficial interaction between Whitney's acting job and her singing aspirations, and he proposed that showing up on the show could really support her singing profession, regardless of this consolation. Whitney Houston declined the proposal with a bit of confidence, as history would later uncover. Whitney proceeded to become one of the best R&B specialists ever, with Whitney Houston quitting the show, confronted the requirement for another Sandra, prompting a huge tryout in New York. At this crossroads, the makers and projecting chief reviewed another ability bring a natural face one. Again into thought, the master columnist portrays this piece of the story, describing how at the ensuing tryout the now recalled applicant, leaving her imprint, thus Sabrina Le Beauf procured the job and made her presentation in the Paramount 10th episode of Season 1, being a piece of a top-rated sitcom, enjoyed its benefits, and she partook in the monetary solaces that empowered her to purchase a Dutch pioneer house in Inglewood, New Jersey. Her relaxation hours were dedicated to investigating secondhand shop stores and embracing sentiment. During her exhibition at the Fuller Theater in Washington in 1987, destiny mediated, carrying her into the circle of Michael Reynolds, a money manager and maker the associate. Ion between them was significant to the point that under a month after their underlying experience, they fixed their responsibility in marriage, picking New York as their common homestead. The lovebirds set out on an excursion that traversed north of 10 years by April 1989, which was close to the furthest limit of The Cosby Show's fifth season. Sabrina had just showed up in 31 of the show's 125 episodes, communicating her dissatisfaction. She commented, "Having been on the show for quite some time, I have not had the option to do what I can do. I feel duped that 55 million individuals 7 days watch something not my best work." Looking to investigate her art past the bounds of the sitcom, Sabrina looked for potential open doors somewhere else. Her process drove her to a Shakespearean job at a venue in Washington, D.C., giving her a stage where she could grandstand her gifts from an alternate perspective. Anyway, the back and forth between inventive yearnings and authoritative commitments surfaced regardless of not including them in each episode. The show demanded her day-to-day presence on set. A difficult choice lingered: either relinquish or pay for the excess episodes by breaking the agreement, or explore the multifaceted elements to proceed with her quest for imaginative satisfaction in an urgent second. Bill Cosby, the famous figure behind the show, interceded for Sabrina's sake that a work-discharge arrangement was haggled genially, permitting her to adjust her commitment obligation to the show. With her longing for innovative investigation, the inquiry waited. Why not extend her job and dig into the profundities of her personality? Sabrina credited this limit to an apparent idea that she was an exhausting individual. In spite of her pride in being an expertly prepared entertainer, she felt her commitments were minimized in the most natural-sounding way for her. "I suppose in the event that you are amped up for something, you compose for it. I'm not composed for it. I assume the littlest part. I don't feel like I make any commitment to the show regardless of my view of her as exhausting." She demonstrated her award in an episode where her personality encountered the significant snapshot of conceiving an offspring, earning honors for perhaps the greatest evaluated episode in the show's set of experiences. The groundwork for this crucial episode included Sabrina taking llamas classes with entertainer Kim Stalton, who was pregnant at the time. Their joint efforts stretched out past the screen as Sabrina helped Kim enrich her child's nursery, regardless of the episode's enormous accomplishment with a staggering 50 million viewers. Sabrina stayed unassuming, and in a meeting with the Washington Post, she communicated that "This is the most work I have needed to do, the most difficult work, yet it didn't feel like it was my episode." Her disappointment originated from the episode's center, which inclined more towards her personality's better half. Elvin is exploring the conveyance room and the elements of Bill and CLA as first-time grandparents. Sabrina related how Bill Cosby, in the end, added a scene for her, denoting an uncommon occurrence where she became a point of convergence as The Cosby Show closed in 1992. Sabrina set out on another section, looking for satisfaction. After signing up for an inside plan program at UCLA, she dug into an innovative domain that permitted her to flourish. Capability in the field saw her gaining high-profile clients, with spending plans coming to up to $400,000 anyway. Life went off in a strange direction in 1996 when her 9-year marriage with Michael Reynolds reached a conclusion in a CED interview with Individuals magazine. Sabrina recognized the jumble of their characters and confessed to hurrying into the relationship. The fallout left her wrestling with frustration, yet additionally made her ready for a fresh start, embracing singlehood. Sabrina migrated to a one-room Los Angeles lodge embellished with her esteemed collectibles. The last part of the 90s denoted her resurgence in acting with appearances in theater. She created a voice acting job in the television series Parenthood and made guest appearances on The Sinbad Show and the CBS sitcom Cosby, rejoining her previous television guardians. Thanks for watching this video.